Good morning, world.
Good morning.
Here's what I have to say. If you're not proud of your country, then don't go and compete for your country.
Don't let the doorknob hit you or the good Lord split you. Today on Cedric and Brian, I'm Cedric.
And I'm Brian, and this is Cedric and Brian. I wanted to do this story, so I just sent the article to Cedric, and I said, do with this what you will, because I was pretty pissed off. And I told him, I said, I'm fired up and I'm ready to go.
Yes.
Because I love every 4 years, and in this case 5 years, we wait and we get to watch the Olympics and we get to root. It's one time where we all get to root for the same team if we're in this country, right? Like, he likes Denver, I like the Rams, so we root against each other. But when it comes to the Olympics, we root for USA.
Yep, we're all on the same team.
Yep. And we're seeing, like, if you saw our video on Tuesday with the trans athletes, where the one trans athlete for the United States just wanted to go and burn the flag. So today, we're talking about somebody else.
Today we're talking about Gwen Berry, and you guys may have heard the story already, but if you guys don't know Gwen Berry, she is trying out for the U.S. Olympic team in the hammer throw. She was competing in, not in the Olympics, but in the trials. Where she finished third. She didn't even finish in the top two. I think the girl who finished in first was Deanna Price, and second was Brooke Anderson. Why that's important is because Deanna Price actually set a record in the trials. I mean, she's that good where she's setting records in the trials, but you probably didn't hear about that because it was overshadowed by the antics of Gwen Berry.
So was the one who set the record, was she white?
Yes.
She was a white woman?
Yes. Okay. Yes. And this doesn't come as a surprise to me. The trials are held in California's stupid cousin, Oregon, and that's where things go down there. But well, this is the picture of her. Brian can put the picture up there, and she just has this complete attitude. And the whole thing that she was upset about was that they played the national anthem after the hammer throw.
Wait. So this is for the U.S. trials to represent the U.S. in the Olympics.
Yes.
And she was mad because they played the U.S. national anthem.
I guess she wanted to hear Cardi B's WAP. I don't know what she was upset about.
Is it WAP or WAP? Because I seem to get feedback. Like, I'll say WAP, but then that sounds like the Italian slang.
I think it's WAP.
Is it WAP?
I think it's WAP.
WAP.
Yeah.
It's wet ass.
Yes. We won't go into that. But like Brian said in the intro, this is the only time every 4 years where we can come together as a unit. And with everything that went on in 2020, with all the racial division and everything that was going on, the Olympics was the time we could look forward to that, because the NBA and Major League Baseball and NFL, they went to great lengths to divide us. And we thought, oh, this is great, especially since Tokyo was saying, we're not going to put it with any BLM stuff. We're not going to stand with any gaslighting or profiling or sticking your fist up in the air.
But you knew it was coming.
You
knew it was coming.
Yeah. And Brian put this picture up here. So while they're playing the national anthem, she has her back turned. And that's similar to the kindergartner or first grader. We tell them, no, you can't have dessert yet until you have your dinner. So she threw a fit, turned her back, and said, well, you know what? I'm just not going to participate.
I heard she thought she was set up.
Yes.
Like it was some great sin to play the national anthem.
Yeah. Well, and toward the end, and then Brian can put this picture up also, she holds up a black T-shirt that says activist athlete. That's the Olympics is not the time for that. The Olympics is, like Brian said earlier, you go out and you run your heat, you swim your medley, you throw your hammer, and then you celebrate.
And you do it for Team USA. That is why you were there. So if you don't want to participate because you are so upset about the country that you're living in that's allowing you to do this, then just disqualify yourself. Just say, I'm not going to compete for the USA. I don't like the United States, so then get out. Right. Get the F out and don't take somebody else's spot.
Yeah. And I was thinking, I'd rather see a bunch of alternates get silver and bronze, but be happy to be there.
Or not even medal and be happy to be there.
Yeah, not be happy to be there. Because, I mean, well, we're America. We should be medaling something.
I know, but you see some of these countries that are very small, and they're just ecstatic.
They're excited to be there. Brian can put this quote up from Gwen Berry up on the board, because Brian alludes to the fact that she felt like she was set up, which I didn't understand that. I'll go over this quote in a second. She says, I feel like it was a setup, and they did it on purpose. They had enough opportunities to play the national anthem before we got up there. It was real disrespectful. Okay, leave that up there because I want to take it just line by line really quick. I felt like it was a setup, and they did it on purpose. First of all, what's a setup? You're at the Olympic, like you said earlier, Olympic trials for the American team, and it probably was set up. And for
well, it was. They said it was set up. It plays that time every day, I guess, or during the trial.
But even if it doesn't, I think it should be. I think it should be on
proud
loop.
of it. Yeah, exactly. You're competing for the freaking United States.
Yeah. Play it every half hour on the half hour. It's America.
I told him I was fired up about this.
You were, right? And they did it on purpose. But she said that like it was an egregious thing, like, oh, they did it on purpose. So what? And then they goes on to say they had enough opportunities to play the national anthem before we got up there.
She's like a child.
Like a child.
Play it. Don't play it when I don't want you to play it.
Right.
Like she has some say in it.
Yeah.
You're not even the gold medalist. You're the bronze in the trial.
Third in the trials.
Yeah.
And so she's acting a damn fool because they played it while she was up there. So is she saying that had she been in the infield stretching or practicing, they could have played it then?
Well, what if she asked, obviously she got third in the trials, but let's say she has her best day ever in the Olympics. And she stands up there when they play our national anthem because the gold medalists get the national anthem. What's she going to do then? Is she going to say, I'm not going to stand for the national anthem? This is a good test. It's like, okay, National Committee for the United States, Olympic Committee, get rid of her now.
Yes.
Don't take a chance to embarrass
You
us.
don't need a cancer on the team. It's terrible. And the last part, she says, it was real disrespectful. It was disrespectful on her part.
Yes.
It was very disrespectful. You're part of the Olympic team. You're part of the American team. You support the things that we do. And the thing is, this whole activist thing, that she's being an activist. And if you want to be an activist and you really want to prove your point, you be like Jesse Owens back in 1963 in Berlin, where he won not one, not two, not three, but 4 Olympic gold medals and basically thumbed his nose at Hitler and the rest of the world and saying, you know what? That he was an activist. He was going through stuff. Gwen Berry's not going through anything in 2021 that even compares to what Jesse Owens went through.
Yeah, what is she going through? She's being trained by the U.S. Olympic team to compete for your country. They're taking time out to train you. What are you going through? What grievances do you have other than things you have because you've been listening to critical race theory or all the other nonsense going on?
And you look at some of the other notable athletes from yesteryear back in the 60s. You look at Bill Russell of the Celtics. You look at Jim Brown of the Browns. Lou Alcindor, for those of you who don't know, that was Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. And Muhammad Ali lost 5 years out of his prime because he didn't like what was going on in Vietnam. Mm-hmm. He has a right to do that. But he did it outside the ring. Lou Alcindor did it outside the basketball court. Jim Brown did it outside the football field. They put their suit and tie on. They met with people similar to Martin Luther King Jr. and said, we don't like what's going on. We'll meet with you. But on Sunday, Jim Brown said, I'm going to put on my cleats. I'm not going to make a show. I'm going to go out and do the job that I'm supposed to do. And you cannot tell me that Gwen Berry has gone through anything that these men have gone through.
No, not in 2021.
Oh, jeez. And I think in the Olympic Committee...
Microaggressions, though, because her feelings probably got hurt.
Her feelings got hurt. But in 1968, what was it? John Carlos and Tommy Smith. If you guys remember that, we'll see if we can get this picture up there. They put their fist up in the air because they were protesting. And that's when the Olympic Committee said, this is not the stage for that. No. We're going to stop doing that. If you guys have a grievance with your country, take care of that off the stage, but we're not going to do that here. As expected, Gwen Berry got a lot of backlash. So she sent out a tweet the following day. And Brian will put this up. She says, thank you. I never said I hated this country. People try to put words in my mouth, but they can't. That's why I speak out. And then in capital letters, she put, I love my people, followed by the fist emoji. I love my people. Who is she referring to?
She's part of that segregation culture.
She referring to just the POCs, people of color, or she says, my people,
if you're
Americans.
Doing this, no. If you love your people, then you're not going to turn your back on the American flag if she means the American people.
Right.
She means what's going on. And obviously she's young. Anybody competing in the Olympics, unless you're a New Zealand weightlifter competing for the women and we're a man, then you might be in your 40s. Other than that, everybody else in the Olympics is pretty young. So obviously she was raised with this whole critical race theory garbage that's been going on, which is the segregation. When Cedric and I were growing up, that's when we integrated.
Right.
We got rid of segregation. Now here we are in our 50s, and people are resegregating and think that's a good thing. So she loves her people, but she doesn't like her country, yet she's supposed to represent her country.
Right. And that's the one thing, like Gwen Berry and other people who are fighting in favor of CRT and other things, and we get it left in our comment section, they're never specific about what's being done to them in 2021. They say, oh, we need to stand up for our rights. We're being mistreated. In what way? Oh, you're a racist for asking that.
Well, they'll point to George Floyd. It's like, was that you?
Yeah,
Did you take a whole bunch of fentanyl? Did you resist arrest?
Right.
Then knock it off.
Right.
Sorry, man.
And then this kind of piggybacks.
I know I'm just the oppressor white guy.
You are the oppressor white guy.
I still get a little steam because I look forward to the Olympics and I look forward to celebrating. I don't care what not nationality, obviously U.S., but what color the athlete is. Obviously, and I've talked about this before, when you're watching track and field, you're rooting for the U.S., and most of the people look like Cedric, not like me. I'm rooting for them to win. I'm not rooting for the German guy to win just because he's white.
Right. Yeah. I mean, like even 1936 with Jesse Owens. I'm sure the Americans rooted for Jesse Owens. I'm sure he had some hatred going on.
I'm sure there was racist back then, and guess what? There's racist now, and there might be people rooting against it. But as a whole, as our country who voted in Barack Obama for 8 years, we're rooting for the United States, and we don't care what color.
Yes. And I'll just touch on this for 3 seconds to kind of piggyback on this story. You guys probably heard the story of Jalen Rose. He's a correspondent on ESPN. He threw a fit because Kevin Love, a white guy, was put on this year's basketball team. And he said, the Olympic Committee is ashamed to send an all-black team. I'm not going to put the pictures up, but 2004, 2008, 2016, those basketball teams were completely black. But he had the audacity to say, oh, they just put Kevin Love on there because, they don't want to send an all-black team. They've done it 3 times already. Kevin Love shouldn't have been put on the team because skill-wise, he shouldn't be on there. But he's played on previous Olympic teams. He won an NBA championship with LeBron James. He has leadership qualities that the team was probably looking for. And when LeBron James and I think Steph Curry and some other people said, no, we don't want to play, they kept going down the line. And they said, Kevin Love, would you like to represent your country and play on the basketball team? He said, absolutely.
It's disgusting that they would bring that up. Could you imagine if it was the other way around?
Oh, my goodness.
Could you imagine if it was the other? Yeah.
We need a black guy in the hockey team.
They put a black guy in the hockey team because they didn't want an all-white. I mean, could you imagine?
Yeah, we don't do ice skating in the cold too well. That wouldn't go well.
There's black hockey players, man.
It's too cold.
Just like there's black country singers.
Yes, I know. I love them. Well, we want to chat a little quick about Gwen Berry. I hope
you're pissed off like I am, and I hope if we all maybe write to the whoever the head of the United States Olympic Committee is, and just say all these people like Chelsea Wolfe, and then Gwen Berry, all these people that say, oh, they don't hate the country, but their actions show that they don't really represent us. Kick them off the team. We don't need that nonsense.
Right. I think they should email everyone right now and say, hey, if you're not down with America, let us know now. Like we said in our last video on Tuesday, no hard feelings. We'll shake hands, but you're not meant for this team.
Yeah. This is one specific time where you're there to represent the United States of America.
Yep. And
like Cedric said on our last video, are we perfect? No, but we're pretty damn good, and we're pretty much better than most countries out there.
Yes.
Absolutely. I mean, we don't have a wall to keep people in. People are still trying to come in this country, and like we said, people from Africa, black people from Africa, are still coming to this country. People from Guatemala and Honduras, where my wife's family's from,
Venezuela,
they're right up on our border trying to get in. Why would they try to come into a racist, horrible country? It doesn't make any sense.
It's a damn shame.
Damn shame. All right, let's get to a comment.
All right, we got a comment here.
And this fits right in with this.
Yeah, I was asking Brian, do we read a comment that kind of flatters us a little bit, or do we read a comment that kind of attacks us a little bit? Yeah. We're going to go with an attacking comment.
Yes.
And this is based on our CRT video, which is still getting a lot of views if you haven't seen that yet.
And so much love.
Yes. And this person's name is Hayes, capital Y-T. I think that's Hayes Whitey. I could be wrong.
Oh, that makes sense. I thought it was Hazy T. But
no. It's Hayes Whitey. Because that would be you. You'd be Whitey.
So maybe he's just a troll.
Yes. And he's, let me read this really quick. If you guys wake up and say the truth, it would be nice to see and hear a black and white guy get along. But just to hear nothing but lies coming out of you, it's very sad. Sorry, this is a Oreo. Which means I'm black on the outside and white on the inside.
Unless he's an Oreo.
Yes. There's more white racist people in this country than any other place.
He's never been any other place.
Let CRT lead the way.
Okay, two things. I'm going to hit a couple things.
Okay.
Just really quick. This day's just tricky. No, I don't even need to look at it. I want you to point out, because obviously you're attacking Cedric. I want you, Hayes Whitey, I guess Whitey,
Yes.
where is he lying? Please point out where you. Of course, everybody does this. They just say something general.
Again, that's that nebulous thing we talk about, like, they're being mistreated.
Where's he lied? I mean, we literally read the CRT manifesto, basically. So where are we lying? And then what was the last part on there?
There's more white racist people in this country than any other place.
Go to one of the Central American countries where they're actually darker skinned. They are so racist against black people. It's unbelievable. In the United States, we are the only white country, if you want to call it white country, white majority country, that has elected a president or prime minister who is black. No other country has done that. That is predominantly white.
Yes.
So you're an idiot. I'm sorry, Hayes Whitey, but you got to do better than that. First, tell where he's lying, and then find another country that's less racist than we are.
And then Hayes Whitey ended up with, let CRT lead the way. Yeah. But hats off to like Governor DeSantis in Florida. He said, not in my state. We're not having this.
I know. And I know we're going to get more hate because we get so much hate on this critical race theory because people just buy into this stuff.
So anyway, hopefully this time comes for the Olympics will be a special time for us as Americans to come together and unify after what happened in 2020. I hope it is. Like Brian said, I hope they get rid of the people who don't want to be here, and so we can just revel in that because there's nothing better than sitting in front of the TV and watching these great athletes just, oh my goodness.
Dedicate their lives to this.
Yes. A random thought. If anybody knows Mary Lou Retton, I had the hugest crush on her in 1984. She was always she was smiling, she was giddy, she was what... Anyway, if Mary Lou, if you're watching, hit me up. Anyway.
Wow.
So that's all we want to share for today.
How about Caitlyn Jenner?
Oh, that was just wrong. Jeez, it looked like you in that Tuesday's video. Anyway, make sure you guys make sure you subscribe, make sure you ring that bell, and share our videos with everyone you know. And with all this other stuff going on, please be good to each other. Until next time, I'm Cedric.
And I'm Brian. See you later.